Welcome to the Utah Poison Control Center. If you are calling about a possible poisoning or overdose, press 1.
This is Brad. Can I help you?
Hey, Brad. My name is Lyonel. How are you?
Good, Lionel. What's up?
Good. Hey, I made an idiot mistake, and I put some .5 brake fluid in a Mountain Dew can and accidentally grabbed the wrong can and drank some of it. It tastes awful, but I thought I better call to see if there's something I should be doing.
Yeah, that's a great question. How long ago did this happen?
About 5 minutes ago or so. I mean, I don't think I swallowed any, if at all.
Sure.
I spit it up.
You realized pretty quick it was not Mountain Dew? Is that
Yeah, it wasn't Mountain Dew. I learned that one real fast.
Yeah, well, and do you know what brand it is by any chance?
No, I don't. It's out of an old 88 Harley Davidson.
Yeah, brake fluid, not incredibly dangerous to drink unless you get any of it in your lungs. And the easiest way to do that is by like gagging when you're swallowing or vomiting. So we do not want you to vomit, okay?
Okay.
All right. So it also can be, if it stays in contact with your mouth and throat for very long, it can make it sore. So have you had anything to drink since this happened or done anything to try to treat it?
No, honestly, I started spitting it all out, and then I grabbed some water and kind of tried to rinse out my mouth more to get the flavor out of my mouth. Then it dawned on me, I better check on this.
Yeah, no, that's a good idea. So what I would recommend now is getting something that tastes good, just taking it, just sipping on it.
Okay.
You should be fine. Should you throw up or start coughing, we need to know about it immediately. We're here all night.
Okay.
I'm not going to bug you tonight. We'll check on you tomorrow. All right, so we'll check on you tomorrow, but we're here all night if you need us. You should be fine. Get something tasty to drink and go easy on it, okay?
Sounds good. Thank you, sir. I appreciate your help.
Yeah, actually, real Mountain Dew would be good.
Yeah. Be a better change than what I tasted.
There you go. All right, take care.
Thank you, sir. Bye. Well, I guess I'm not going to die. That's a relief. But that tasted absolutely awful. I do not recommend that to anybody. So, guess we're going to get back to the bike. I'm not going to have any more Mountain Dew for the rest of the evening. I've learned my lesson. I'm going to get some more water and probably do a little more spitting and get back at the bike. My name's Lyonel Gammon. I live in northern Utah, and I have a story to tell you. Not too long ago, I was cleaning out my grandfather's barn, and I found a vintage Harley Davidson motorcycle. Ah, there it is. Welcome home, baby girl. My plan is to put this Harley Davidson back on the road where it belongs, and I'm going to bring you along with me. So come along with me on this adventure as I learn to build and put a motorcycle back on the road. And I'm going to call it Barnyard Bike. So it's day one of this Barnyard Bike. I've got it rolled in, it's been cleaned, it's on the rack, it's in the barn, and I'm going to tear into it. My plan is to start assessing it and figure out what conditions it's in. And I really want to fire it up. Like, I want to drop a new battery in it. I just want to crank the switch. I want to see if this bike runs, but deep down inside, I know that's not the best thing to do. I don't know the status of the bike. I don't know the oil. I don't know the fuel. And the last thing I want to do is get all excited and amped up to start a motorcycle and do more harm than good. So what I've done is I tore the battery out. I moved the battery outside of the barn. And I'm not going to go buy a new battery. I know the original battery's bad, but I'm not going to buy a new battery. so that the temptation has been eliminated. I cannot start this motorcycle because, like I said, I'm like a little boy on Christmas morning. I want to hear the bike run. I want to feel that power and that thunder of this Harley Davidson. So I've removed the temptation, not even going to start firing the bike up. I'm going to tear the bike down. We're going to start it off the right way, and we're going to get it built. So as day one teardown starts, of course I started on the rear end. It's real easy to start there. I could see the bolts in front of my eyes. Those are the bolts I'm going to take out. I wanted to be really cautious and really careful. I don't know yet what I'm going to keep. I don't know what's going to go back on, so I don't want to do any harm or any damage. And of course, what did I do? Harm and damage. I took that rear fender off, being real careful, real cautious. I set it on the workbench, and as I'm in the mad frantic trying to take parts off, getting excited, what did I do? I aced it to the beast. In the momentum and the excitement of getting this motorcycle tore down, I slid an exhaust pipe, hit the fender, and aced it straight to the concrete floor. The paint is chipped, it broke the rear taillight bezel, and now, well, I know one part that's not gonna go back on this motorcycle. The rear fender has been the first casualty of my Barnyard Bike. So broke the seal on injuries, drained the brake fluid, of course, found out through my homework and research that it's actually .5. Didn't realize that there was a .5. And I didn't have anything to leak it into to handle this fluid. Didn't want it going all over the barn, so grabbed an old Mountain Dew can that's in the shop. Why? Well, because I drink Mountain Dew, and I drink a lot of it while I've been working on the motorcycle. And it was just there, it was just convenient to let all this .5 brake fluid leak right into that Mountain Dew can. And I'm an idiot and left that can sitting on the bench, and I set another can down right next to it. And you know what happens.
That was the .5.
I drank .5 and had a wonderful phone call with the Utah Poison Control to make sure that I wasn't going to end up in the hospital. After getting off the phone with Poison Control, they did put my mind at ease. And I will tell you, don't be too bold. Listen to your wife, listen to me. If you're worried, just call Poison Control. It was well worth knowing that it wasn't straight poison. So I've been spending a couple days here tearing down the motorcycle, set a goal that I want to get this bike torn all the way down to the bare frame. Of course, if I'm going to know the motorcycle, I've got to start from square one. We're almost there, and I'm not going to lie to you, I'm burnt out. I'm tired of fighting bolts. I'm tired of breaking bolts. The cheater bar has been bent multiple times. I'm just frustrated. I got to get away from it. So I'm going to walk away from the motorcycle, not giving up, of course. This is my Barnyard Bike, but I do live on a little piece of land up here in northern Utah, and I got to take care of it, and I've got to recharge myself. So the way to recharge is living this Western lifestyle. So I'm going to step away from the bike. Hopefully, taking some time away from it will put my mind right and also direct me in a right direction of where we're going to take it. Okay, Hawk, you stay right here. We should have shut that other gate. Stay here, Hawkie. Holden, if you get to that gate over there, shut that gate. Easy, Erp. Erp. Just don't push him. Holden, turn around, raise your arms. Push him back. So living the country lifestyle, we like to rodeo. Besides motorcycle riding, we rodeo. So when it's not time to ride a motorcycle, it's time to get ready for a rodeo, or it's time to train and take care of our equine friends. Quite frankly, these horses aren't going to feed themselves. The cattle here on the property aren't going to feed themselves. So there's work to be done. been away from the bike now for a little while, quite frankly, longer than I wanted to be, but I've got a clear head. I think I've got an idea of where I want to go, but it's still a lot of ideas. So we're gonna get back into the barn and get this bike all the way down to the frame. Again, the goal is to the frame. That was easier than I was hoping for, or expecting. Of course, we still have the throttle cable. Wires are attached. And there is the front is coming apart. Bars are off. You know what? So we've got a little bit more work to do. Got to get this starter off, got to get the primary out, got to get the transmission, pull the motor, the electrical, everything like that. But at that point, we're gonna be bare frame, and that's where I think the actual build, the character of this bike will come to life. So I did it. I hit my goal. The bike is bare frame. All the parts are out. It's a mess. There are parts here, parts there. Tried to categorize it to know what's what and what I'm gonna keep, but now I need some guidance. And I've got the exact guy who is gonna help me give this bike the Rockstar treatment. I'm gonna reach out to my dear friend, Xavier Muriel, former drummer of Buckcherry. So not only is he a motorcycle builder, but he's truly an official, a rock star. And I know that he's gonna help me give this bike the Rockstar treatment, but he's also gonna guide me and coach me along the way. As he's a builder himself out of Texas, I think he'll be able to show me exactly what I'm looking for and the road I need to take to get this bike back on the road.
There we go.
Hey!
Hey! Now I got you.
What is going on, my man?
That.
Woo!
And that. Yeah.
Yeah, you're busy.
A little bit. That's okay though, I'll take it, you know? Busy's better than not being busy, man.
Yeah, and here I am bugging you to help me with my little empty frame.
It's all good, man, it's all good. So what do you got going on over there?
Well, so here's the deal. I picked up this 88 Softail in my grandfather's barn. Decided it was time to build myself a bike, and I was just gonna fix it and get it roadworthy, and then realized, you know what? I wanna know what this bike is about. I wanna have a sentimental attachment to the bike. I wanna love the bike. So I got a wild hair one night and stripped it all the way down to the frame.
I love that. I love that. You don't know what you're doing. None of us did. And if somebody ever tells you that there's a rule book or a way to do it, no, man. You know, it's all nuts and bolts. It's just one nut and another bolt and another washer, and just until you've got nothing left. And I love that, man. I love it.
See, and I thought, you know what, you're a perfect guy, Xavier, knowing your history, knowing how you broke into the motorcycle industry, how well you're doing with it, the shows you're winning, the bikes you're building. I was like, look, I'm gonna seriously call in a serious favor. We're going to the rock star himself. I need coaching, I need guidance. So when you get started on a motorcycle, what's your first steps? I mean, I'm here, I probably went too far and tore it down, but what do I do now? Like, I'm just lost. Like, I look at the junk on this frame and I'm like, I don't think I need that, but maybe I do. Like, I really want to take the grinder stuff, but I don't know if I dare. That's why I'm calling you.
And oh, and by the way, I love that shirt. That's
hey,
crazy.
Finally you said something, man. Like,
I love that.
You realize that this is not a tour shirt. Like, this is a personalized homage to the man. Made it myself, baby.
That is not official Buckcherry worldwide attire or
there's no tour dates on the back here.
Yeah, there's no tour dates, but that's cool, man. Thank you, I appreciate that.
Listen, you can't buy a shirt like that. You've got to be a diehard fan, and I made that shirt to show Xavier how much he meant to me and how much I loved him as a rocker. But now I love him even more as a motorcycle builder.
I did basically the exact same thing you're doing to a bike about 3 years ago. It was a 94 Softail. And I removed everything that I thought I was not going to use when I put it back together. Now, for me, having a little bit more knowledge of the end result was a good thing. For you, I would probably suggest that you look at, especially like, let's take for instance, right behind the neck and under the backbone.
Yeah.
All of that little plating right there. Okay, those are all for circuit breakers and wiring and switches and all that stuff. Okay, right. Okay, so now we know. Now we know that you are not going to do XXX. So I normally will take, that frame is blue, correct?
Yeah, it's blue.
Okay, then I would take something that I can visually see, like a red marker, a yellow marker, and put an X on everything that I'm going to remove. So that way, when you start the process, you don't get cut happy and then go, oh wait, was I supposed to cut that one or this one? So
Okay.
That's what I would do, because that'll allow you to really start to modify the frame the way that you're thinking about it. Same way with the tank mounts, the upper tank mounts. You've got flat side tank mounts. Do you want those, or do you want to do like a cool Sportster Frisco style that sits on this? Okay, well then get rid of those. Big red, yellow X, whatever it is. And then that's how you start, you know. And little by little, once you start cutting away, then you have to understand not to cut too deep, because you want to be able to take a flap disc or some sort of angle material remover so that you can keep that roundness. Because once you go too low and you make a flat spot on a round piece of tubing, then you got to go back and put material on, which requires welding. So
Gotcha.
in just my experience, it's easier to leave a little bit of height so that you can start to finesse, because a lot of that stuff, I mean, I never had the tools that I have now. I was doing that stuff with a file, like literally a hand file, just because that's the way the old timers did. And that's the way that they taught me. And then I was like, this sucks. I'm getting a big compressor and some tools because I'm not doing this. I'm not spending 4 days working on a backbone. So, you know, that's where I would start.
Okay.
And then start a list, man. The list is your best friend. Or get a big whiteboard. You've got a lot of area, a lot of wall space. Get you a nice dry erase board, and you can start putting down your ideas, because you're going to have ideas flooding towards into you quicker than you will be able to keep up with them. And then also that way, you make yourself a little grid board like that.
Nice. All right.
So that when you think about stuff, you put it on the board and you don't forget it, because there may be steps 39, 40, and 41 that you forget about, and you get to step 50 and you're like, oh, wait, I was gonna, you know. So it's just basically a way of keeping track of stuff so that you have, you know, a constant day to day. And maybe you don't. Maybe you're getting ready to go out, do some road work for a while, and you won't be in the shop for another week and a half. You don't want to forget where you're at. Trust me, it's a bitch. So, you know, stuff like that just makes it a lot easier. Like an elephant, you can't eat them all at once. You got to take little bites here and there. But you want to start with the frame, and then that will lend itself to, okay, what kind of front end do you want? How do you want to do the rear end? What kind of do you want spokes? Do you want mags? Do you want 18 in the rear, 16, 21 front, 18? So once you get the frame kind of where you want it, then you can go back. And I don't mean fully done, because it's never going to be fully done. Trust me, in the process of this whole thing, you will change your mind a gazillion times. And what you end up with is nothing compared to what you thought you had in your head in the beginning. And that's just the beauty of it, is it's ever changing. You'll see stuff at rallies, or you'll see something on TV, or maybe a hot rod that you see and you go, man, that would be really cool if I did that to that. And that's how that whole process starts, man, you know,
Gotcha.
Which is great. So I think understanding where you want the bike in your head to kind of be will start to lend itself as to what you're doing with the frame by removing this and removing that. People think it's crazy. This is no different than creating a song with a bunch of other dudes in a room. And what is the song trying to tell you that it wants? What is for me, I mean, that's my experience, is what is this motorcycle trying to tell me? I mean, I will literally, I have a specific seat that I have back here that is this position. So that's what I look at many hours of the day, trying to see exactly what it wants, and a lot of people, a lot of guys will tell you, oh, well, I can conceive it in my head, from beginning to end. Well, that's cool. I'm not one of those guys. If I'm in a pissed off mood and I come in here, something's going to change. Or if, it depends on what my mood is. It's very much a creative process, just like creating music. One day you will be inspired, the next day you will be battling, and the next day you will not be inspired, and you will try to figure out what's going on.
All right. Man, you've given me plenty to get going on. And I'm going to do what you said. I'm going to set up a chair, and I'm going to just stare at this frame. And I'm going to find a space, and I'm going to plant myself and learn what this bike's going to become. Okay, man, I appreciate you.
Okay, bud, take care.
Okay, take care. Bye.
Bye.
So just got off the phone with Xavier, and he's fully in. He's going to help. He's going to support. He's going to, quite frankly, mentor me on how to do this. It's really interesting to see his perspective. The main thing that he told me is let this motorcycle speak to me. So I'm going to take some time. I'm going to actually sit down, and I'm going to just stare at the motorcycle. I mean, I don't know how to let a motorcycle speak to me. It's a hunk of iron. Well, right now it's a frame. But, he said that you've got to let that bike kind of influence you on where it's going to go. So listen, I'm not going to buck the system, and I'm not going to cherry pick my parts. I'm going to do it the way Xavier told me to do it, the right way. I'm going to let this frame speak to me, and we are going to build it out the right way, again, for the ride.